What's up, everybody? It's Henry with Conoly Coaster Designs, back at you with another Iron Menace Dorney Park 2024 construction update. Sorry that we did not get an update out last week. Last week was a little busy. Luckily, there wasn't all too much to talk about at the construction site, and pretty much what we saw last week can be covered in this week's construction update. What's the current status of Iron Menace? Let's talk about that for a minute. So based upon some various videos that have already been released from other content creators looking at the construction site, what I can say is this. Iron Menace is well within the first phase and second phase of construction. There are already all the compost filters out. The construction entrance is laid. The filters above the inlets are in place. That was from a video that I saw from, I believe, I'm not even going to butcher it. I'll link it in the comments. There's a video that went behind the scenes that you were able to see those inlet filters in place finally. And we are seeing a lot more survey markings. We are seeing a lot more detail being added across the site as far as preparation for grading, preparation for utility work, and also other preparation for demolition. So, as I said, we are well within Phase 2 of the construction of this ride. Phase 1, again, let's just recap this. Phase 1, compost filter installation. Phase 1 was also the construction road installation. Phase 1 was also the inlet filter system installation. There are a few other things in there that I'm missing. Phase 2 is demolition of existing structures, and all that is going to follow Demolition Plan 1 and 2 in the South Whitehall Township documents that were released. What that's going to include, as we've already seen, is ripping up the existing service road, ripping up concrete pads and walkways that are not needed, that will be in the way of moving the progress forward on this new construction, removing foliage, removing trees that are in the way. Of course, the big pavilion buildings in the back that are going to get ripped down, those are a part of the demolition phase of this construction project. What I don't think we'll be seeing will be the Rita's demolition yet. I do have a feeling that Rita's demolition is imminent, let's put it that way. With the park being closed throughout the week, theoretically they can demolish Rita's, have it cleaned off and cordoned off in time to open for a Friday night haunt. But I don't think we're just there yet to seeing Rita's demolished. I think we might see that mid to late haunt season at the earliest. What I can tell you will not be being demolished are any of the existing walkways that go back to the brand new haunt building. Again, we are going to have an announcement on September 7th about the haunt building. I really think that is going to have something to do with the future of how that haunt building is going to tie into this new themed area throughout the season. As I speculated in another video, I think this could potentially be a year-round haunt structure. I don't think it will be a nightly one, but maybe we might see it on weekends. And if it was a daily operation, of course, it would be probably later at night when they have, maybe part-timers that are available to come in after their normal day jobs to work the haunted attraction. But again, September 7th, we're going to find out all about that. So that's not really what we're going to talk about in this video. So the pathways that are due to be ripped up in front of the Flying Scooters ride, in front of the bathrooms, those I don't think are going to be touched until the off-season. Hopefully, everything goes right. We'll have a drone. We'll have permission to fly from adjacent properties, not violate Dorney's airspace or anything like that, and hopefully get views of that happening as we get into the off-season. But with all that said, let's dive into talking about what is at the construction site right now, what is going on at the construction site. And as I said, my fiance and I went over this last night, and we spent a little bit of time talking about this, trying to figure out what those current markers are. Because there are a mess of markers out there. And the first thing that we noticed is that they are very well organized. These aren't markers dotting the areas like we've seen so already with the various utility markers. We've seen the green and blue markers out in the field denoting where existing utilities are. These are very different markers. These are temporary surveying markers. They have to tie back to that the three different circled nails that are out there in front of Possessed. 2 in front of Possessed, 1 in front of that little building that connects to the Possessed gift shop. Those are the surveying points. That's where they center their equipment over, and that's where they shoot their survey lines from. Again, I'm no expert in this. I am going off of an immense amount of research that I've done, and I'm hoping I'm understanding it correctly and relaying it properly to you. But these markers that are out there, they are brand new survey markers. And those survey markers, we believe, are kind of lining out something very specific with the new ride. So let's dive into those markers real quick. So diving into the markers, you're going to notice that they're numbered. 734, 731, there's one that says 712. There's various 700 numbers in there. I do not think these have anything to do with elevation. The elevation on this construction project and all of the construction that's being done is based upon height above sea level. Okay, so when we first saw that benchmark nail in the beginning of the season up against the former electrical room for Stinger, that was marked, I believe, 312.67, if I'm remembering correctly. That was the initial benchmark nail, 312.67 feet above sea level. And then you had that secondary benchmark nail, which is still currently in the bathroom building. And I do not at all remember what the number on that one was. I've seen too much stuff relating to this ride already that it's kind of left my memory. So these 734, the 731, I do not think that they are relating to elevation. I also don't think they're necessarily relating to what needs to be done for grading. The only thing I can really come up with is that they are calling out specific points on a detailed construction map, a detailed blueprint for what needs to be done on this site in order to get to progress along in building this ride. So, again, we're going to see various different heights, or various different markers here. As you can see here, there are a series of markers laid out in straight lines. You have a couple markers off in front of that excavator there. Those form a decent-sized rectangle. And then there are a few other markers staged up in front of it, which, again, those are other surveying markers. I don't know yet what those are relating to. There's not enough detail there to go off of. There's not enough things for me to reference the construction plans that have been released to the township, so I really can't speculate on that. But what we can speculate on is what these specific markers are. So these specific markers, as you see here, they say COR, and then you have a various code there, I guess would be the best way. A reference would be another way of saying it. COR can mean two things. It could either mean corner, or it's a way of changing the plans, I guess would be the best way of saying it. COR, I forget what the actual construction term it means. I looked it up last night. I have completely forgotten it by now. But COR could mean that they have found something with that specific area that, in relation to what the original engineering and the original plans were, they have determined that something has to change in order for construction to commence on that area. Deeper foundations, change in material, more reinforcement, kind of that type of thing. And with knowing what we know about the history of this part of the park, not only was this the site of 2 different roller coasters, this was also the site of pools at one point in the park's history. So, the foundations below this and the soil being a little different than what they were planning for based upon maybe other construction that's been done in the park or other soil sampling that's been done in other areas of the park, wouldn't be too surprising if they have to change a few things in order to support what I believe is going to be going right here. Moving along, you're going to see more of the COR stakes. You're going to see more of the 713 stakes. It's why the COR stakes being where they are is why I don't believe they're defining corners. I believe they are defining changes in what needs to be done to construct this ride. And to just quick touch on something, this is boring, but it's worth detailing in this whole construction video series, is the changes. They're going to come down to the expense of either the builder or Dorney Park. It's going to be something where either the builder didn't prepare properly or Dorney Park is going to have to foot the bill in order to make this happen. And with where we are in construction, one of them's going to do it, because this ride needs to keep going. But again, you're going to see C17, COR T1A, COR T1A, COR ST3-R. These are all various survey markers. So what are these things lining out? What I believe these are lining out and where they seem to line up. Again, all those photos are taken from either that open pathway after the construction gate. Most of them were taken up next to the bathrooms. And based upon the rendering and based upon the information released to South Whitehall Township, we know that the station building is essentially going to be right smack dab where those markers are. So, these are survey markers, and they are clearly calling out some reference points in the construction plans. At this point, I believe those are reference points to the grading work that needs to be done on site in preparation for vertical construction. What they are doing, and I thank Amanda for searching this one out because she found it when I couldn't, is I believe they are marking an area that is to not be disturbed. The area right there, I believe, is the base of the station building. That will turn into the foundation for the station building, for the storage building, and for the electrical building, which I will show you in this rendering right here. What I have here is a overlay of the existing features plan, and a ghost image added on to it is the construction plan. The existing features plan, you can see where the restroom area outside of limits, outside limits of 100-year flood plan, and you'll see that little platform that would be where you would stand currently. There is a very clear alignment between where the proposed station building is and where the current flagging is on the construction site. I believe they are currently working to avoid disturbing that area so that way they can continue working around the site, carrying out the various demolition of existing features on this site that needs to happen in order to progress construction forward. Also, what you see just behind the station building is an electrical building that is to be erected. That electrical building, I believe, is delineated by the couple errant markers that are behind that main set of rows of markers. So there it is. That's what's being notated right now at the construction site. The future footprint, the future foundation for the station building, for the transfer track, for the storage building for the trains, that's what's being denoted there. There's a lot of speculation that I've seen across various different channels, various forums, talking about what that could be. Based upon my best education and based upon some research done by the person hiding behind the curtain right now, and based upon just having read over these construction documents so many times it's not even funny, or actually that person there, based upon reading that construction plan so many times as I have, this is my best educated guess. This is our best educated guess using the research tools available to us to figure out what's going on at the construction site right now. There we go. Big part out the way. Now, let's move on to some other things going around the construction site. This is going to be a lot quicker. It's not going to be as boring. If you're still sticking around to this point in the video, you are a rock star. You obviously love roller coasters and you're excited for Iron Menace. So if you are excited for Iron Menace, do me a favor. Click the like button, click subscribe, turn on those notifications. Go ahead and check us out at Conoly Coaster Designs on Twitter or X or whatever the heck it's called. You can find our Discord, Conoly Coaster Designs. There will be a link in the description. follow us along, and if you guys see anything at the park, feel free to reach out and let us know, hey, I saw this. We'll add it into our videos. We'll start diving into it, and you know, if it's something of note, let's roll with it. So, moving into the next parts of construction going on, we're just going to be looking towards the back here. So this is past those organized columns of, or organized rows of construction markers. What we're looking at is other survey markers. I believe these other survey markers are partially for the electrical building. Some of those are going to have to do with surveying that's going on for future excavation and stuff like that. The largest tree that was back there, that has now been taken out. It is that stump that's sitting there. So that probably by the time we get back to the park on Sunday, that'll be ground down, that'll be gone. I imagine that's probably already gone at this point in filming, and I'm filming this on Wednesday night. So, moving back, we have yet another tree that has received the red X of get out of here. So that is another tree that's going to be removed. This is on the other side of the property, on the other side of the fence line, let me rephrase that, bordering the road. That tree is going to need to get out of there because I believe that's where you're going to come out of the dive or the incline loop, if I'm remembering correct. It's either going to be the incline loop there or the turnaround to the brake run. I believe one of those two is going to be pretty close to that tree. And then here you can see another tree that has been removed. You can also see where the existing pavilion structures are pretty much bare. They're ready to get removed, minus a couple things being stored back there. And then we have one final little peek. As anybody that's been at the park may or may not know this week, the pathway that's been closed off in front of the brand new haunt building, McTavish Steel, that has finally opened back up. We can finally get up and back there. And we went back. Of course, we were looking around. We did not break any rules, did not violate Dorney's no trespassing signs or private property signs, but the gate was kind of open, so we were able to get a little bit of a look. And looking there, we can see another limit of disturbance line, as I was talking about in the video 2 weeks ago. The X's around the planters, those are the limits of disturbance for out there. There are limits of disturbance throughout this construction site. There are specific areas that have been stated they will not be disturbed. That is where construction ends. Nothing else is going to happen. And this just happened to be one that I found back there, and I thought it would be good to add in here. So, that's construction as it is. Phase 1, done. Phase 2, well underway. And I'm speculating probably within the next week to 2 weeks, we are going to be looking at Phase 3 beginning, if it hasn't already began. And based upon a video that we were watching, best we can tell, we should see track, I believe Ryan in the video said late September, early October. So we should see steel track columns, something, populating up in the Necropolis area. And based upon Necropolis being open again this year, one thing you're going to notice is there's a secondary fence there. And that secondary fence is blacked out. It is blocking where they are going to be storing track and supports. But if you're tall enough or, you know, want to take a peek over, you might be able to see some stuff there late September, early October, based upon what Ryan was saying in another video that we had seen. So that's going to do it for this week's construction update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it informative. I really hope that it helps you kind of see what's going on to make what's going to be standing on this site next year a reality. And that's the whole goal of this video series. And it's been the goal from literally day one of me doing this, was to make the most informative videos I can possibly make about the construction of this ride. Even if it means spending hours trying to research what the heck a single flag is. So if you enjoyed, again, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, get the notifications every time we post a video, so that way you can stay in the loop of what's going on. Follow us on Conoly Coaster Designs on X or Twitter or whatever it is. Click the link down below and find yourself in our Discord channel. And as always, if I see you at the park, come say hi. It's always nice meeting y'all out at the park and seeing what you have to say about this ride, seeing the excitement for this ride. Again, our first new ground-up, custom-designed roller coaster since 2005. It's, of course, something worth being excited for. And the cherry on top is that it's a Bollinger and Mabillard, the best roller coasters on earth. Anyway, if you just remember what I always say. We love a niche thing. We're a niche community. Show each other love. Show each other compassion. Show each other kindness. Don't hate. And if there's a disagreement, let's work through it, right? That's what we do here. Till the next video, I'll see you. My name's Henry with Conoly Coaster Designs. Have a good one.